Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Now you're ready to win an arm wrestling contest.
Of course.
Just go over the top.
Go over the top, baby.
Perfect.
Do you guys have any strong feelings on which movie we should discuss first?
It could have happened to you. Is that what it is?
It could happen right now.
It could happen to you.
Well, it can't happen right now. Something else has to happen first.
That's true.
No.
Welcome
Yeah,
back to welcome back to Cage Match: a roundabout way of meeting Nicolas Cage.
You do have to do that again.
But that was the perfect segue.
It wasn't. It was just the introduction.
Welcome back to Cage Match: a roundabout way of meeting Nicolas Cage. I'm your host, Sean, here with my co-host
Nick, I'm Nick.
and our producer.
Peter, hello.
And this week we have a special guest.
I'm Brandon White. Good to see you guys. Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
So this podcast, we are taking 64 of Nick Cage's best movies.
Heavy air quotes.
They heard the inflection. And whittling it down to whatever we think his best film is, as decided by Nick and myself.
No one else, including our guests.
Hard parameters right there. There's no rubric. There's no nothing. It's just what we like.
It's changed basically every episode.
It varies
Fair
wildly.
enough.
The first
Much
episode,
like the performances of Nick Cage.
yeah, and the
Very
first
much
episode
so.
that we really kind of bent the rules was the first time Army of One came around.
So the second episode,
I don't think that was really even bending the rules. I
That's
think
true.
it was just
adapting them to fit what we wanted.
we were
Well,
exploring,
what you wanted.
exploring the space.
yeah, it was an intelligent exploration of rules
It beat
adaptation.
adaptation, which was wrong.
Which is no, adaptation's a great movie. But it just wasn't, a contender.
Couldn't go the distance.
No. It's
We'll
like
get into that.
kissing
We'll
your
get
aunt.
into that.
It's like kissing your what?
There was a palpable
your aunt.
tension in the room that y'all couldn't feel.
Oh, just wait till we get back to the not primal episode.
Oh yeah, no. Primal will come back.
We're gonna do a losers bracket. Bring Primal back. It's
No.
Primal against Primal.
No, we
Primal wins
Every
should-
time.
every time it advances.
We should do adaptation versus primal.
Oh man, it'd be sad when adaptation still lost. So Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself real quick since we got you in the chair?
Known Nick for a long time. We went to school together. He moved up here. I'm a stand-up comic in the Seattle area. I'm kick-ass. That's really about it.
There you
Nick
go.
maybe watched two of the strangest movies I've seen in a long time with these two movies. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting experience. Very cheap movies to rent too, by the way. I just want you to know, out of the gamut of movies that I could have rented off of any platform, these ones were very cheap. So I appreciate that.
I wouldn't know that. I personally,
You personally own these movies.
I do.
You should show them the collection.
These are proudly displayed on my wall.
All right, we are different people, that's for sure.
Nick knows how to go with a bit.
No, I'm just committed to a lifestyle.
a Cage lifestyle, a Nicolas Cage lifestyle.
Yeah, it's the I've got a girlfriend and please don't ever let her leave me because this is all I've got lifestyle.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just her and Nicolas Cage.
Some people clamor for that. You're lucky you got it.
So, Brandon, did you have a relationship to Nick Cage movies at all, or is this just because of Nick?
This is just because of Nick.
Good.
Has your opinion on the man changed at all?
Not so much. There's an episode of Community. I don't know if you guys know this, where they discuss Nicolas Cage, good or
Yeah.
bad, and I kind of agree with the conclusion of that he's a good, bad, bad, good. And I think these are two examples of both of that. A good, bad, and a bad, good.
I don't think you're wrong there.
You're not the first people to do a podcast about Nicolas Cage, I'm sure.
We are not.
We're actually not even the first Cage Match podcast.
Fair enough.
But we've produced more work than them at this point.
That's true. We're better than they are.
Yeah.
Come at us, Cage
Of
Match.
course. I feel like you're
Come on our show. Justify your existence.
Cage Force.
Getting too meta.
Words.
I don't think we need to start encouraging people to start coming on our things.
God.
Fair.
I'm glad Vegas hasn't changed you, Nick.
No.
It's emboldened you.
Yeah, you're stickier somehow. I don't know.
It's that cum. It's that cum.
I got-
That's coming on 'em.
I got the juice.
I do want to tell one quick anecdote about our Vegas trip. On the last night, we got most of everyone together to try and watch one of these movies in a hotel room, and we couldn't get it to work, cast to the TV. So I just suggested Nick and I cuddle in the bed and watch on a tablet, and no one else was having that.
Which did you watch while you were cuddling?
We started Army of One, and then
We got about as far as the like production splash
And
screens.
then John was like, no, you're not doing this. And we watched Renfield instead, which I want to win this week.
Yeah, good choice. Good movie. I liked it.
All right, Renfield goes forward. Next episode.
Thanks for being here.
Of course, my pleasure. This has been quick. I'll get out of here.
I'll beat the traffic.
We value your time.
All right, 1994's It Could Happen to You.
Heavily 1994. I'll
No
tell
shit.
you that. Nicolas Cage is a New York City police officer who is married to Rosie Perez for some damn reason. And he essentially runs into another woman who is
Bridget Fonda?
Bridget Fonda, who is super hot in this movie. Didn't think I was going to think she was that hot, but she
Oh,
was.
no, she had it.
And she's working at a cafe or something, and he can't pay her. So he says, if I win the lottery, I'll come back tomorrow. We can split this ticket. And if I win, I'll give you a tip. If not, and then hilarity ensues from there, I suppose.
Hilarity is a strong word.
A good tie-in. This is the week of true stories. Both of these movies
I
are
was
based off
gonna
of true
say,
stories.
Based off of true stories.
So
man.
we've got that going for us.
Inspired by true stories, I think, is a better.
Well,
Right, Faulkner's is all true.
yeah.
100%. I only say that because, so I thought about this while Peter was watching the movie on the airplane at 1.5 speed, which, that must have been rough to listen to Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez at 1.5 speed was not pleasant.
No, that's a lot.
Rosie
still
Perez feels like she's naturally at 1.5 speed.
Right.
So
I tell you, it was my dead father, and he had 4s in his eyes. Why would it be a 4?
Ugh.
Shut the fuck up.
I still can't stand those little baby teeth. Her teeth are like little bits of corn.
Yeah, they
Corn
are-
stuck in
she's
her
got
gums.
Weird teeth.
I don't like it.
So this movie is based on a true story, and Isaac Hayes tells us that this is basically a real story. The cop and his wife in real life still like never got divorced, none of that. So just how rough would it be to like you sell the rights to this story, they make the movie, and they just turn you into a terrible shrew. They turn you into Rosie Perez.
well, they did it. So apparently the 64 whatever million dollars they won in 96 did not go as far as they thought it was going to.
Yeah, it got him a couple more weeks down the road. And, you know, I would sell my story at any time to have Nicolas Cage play it. Kind of like Gary Faulkner.
What about Rosie Perez play it?
I mean,
It's a take.
yeah.
Rosie Perez in...
Yeah, in my story, it would be great. No, there'd probably be some kind of like appropriations call, like, oh, she's taking our culture and stuff. The internet's wild, man.
I know. I live there.
I've been there once or twice.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
a scary place.
It's where they keep the porn, right?
I used to just go
I
down
think
by
I've
the train
seen this
tracks.
thing. Yeah.
Every once in a while, I still find like skin rag out in the wild.
We
I
found
did
a
not
page.
like the term skin rag.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're talking about the 90s.
That's a face-off reference, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we found a page blowing down the street up in Capitol Hill the other day when we were at work, and put it on my coworker's windshield. It was pretty good. It had like thought bubbles and stuff imprinted on the pages, so you could tell what the lady was thinking. It was mostly about butt stuff.
That's pretty progressive.
I don't think if you read the thought bubble, you'd find it progressive. It's incredibly sexy and gross. Okay, so this movie, I mean, sucks, but you can cut that out.
The plot is terrible. I mean, just there's nothing that causes one thing to happen. Can't go from one spot to another. They just like, this is the part of the plot we need to get to. Now we're at this part of the plot. Now we're at this part of the plot. Now there's no explanation.
Right.
And like
now
just,
we're playing baseball with kids.
Yeah, nothing really drives the story except for just like, oh, let's show how good they are and how shitty Rosie Perez is.
Right. The fact that he can just find her places too, where he's just like, oh, I got kicked out and I'm going to go to the plaza, and she happens to be at the plaza, and then he gets kicked out again, and he's like, I'm just walking in this spot in New York, and she happens to be there in the largest city in the entire world, made no sense.
It's super convenient, yeah.
I will say that I was in New York recently, and I ran into my across-the-street neighbors just arbitrarily walking around in the city.
Was it like a super touristy place though?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Got me on that one.
But I think my daughter has to shit.
Oh, jeez. That's why I don't want kids. Yeah, I like that this was unapologetically 90s. They have a scene That's like roller skating.
Rollerblading.
Rollerblading.
Inline skating.
Yeah, very true.
Let's talk about Nick Cage's hair in this because it's kind of there.
God, I'm trying to remember this. This is still kind of like pushy, backy, thinning, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's very wispy.
This is back when he just looked like a kind of normal, handsome dude.
Yeah.
He still had like the weird teeth.
Yeah, he hadn't jumped into like veneers
Yeah.
and plugs and stuff.
He just looks like a normal guy.
Pre-work. No work done on him yet.
Yeah.
I do have to say, I like Nicolas Cage fully worked out. That's the only time you're going to see like really weird Nicolas Cage too.
Right.
Like-
Like the final product.
Yeah, leather jackets and giant bejeweled glasses and karate chops and
for
like
sure.
probably a studded belt. Those are my Nicolas Cages. Did she shit?
False alarm.
No shitting. Oh.
No, she was just wandering around in her room.
It's quick.
What a jerk.
You gotta put like some caltrops down
Is that what
whenever
she does before
Yeah.
she's got a shit usually? Or
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, fair enough.
She's like just walking it out, Dad.
just trying to find a spot. Just a good spot to
Was
shit.
she-
This is
Doing
like
circles?
day 9 of not pooping. So,
Oh,
What?
oh, we're back
She's
into that
full
again,
of
huh?
shit.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I knew
so
that.
it's imminent, you know.
Gee.
I read an article this weekend about Disney employees having a special like code, like radio code for when some human guest has shit in the queue at one of the rides. They call it a human code H, because a code H was just when the horse craps on the parade. But apparently it's a far more common thing. And my brother confirmed it, that humans will just drop trow and take a shit in the middle of the queue of like the new like
Oh, we're
Star
talking
Wars.
intentionally. We're not talking somebody shit their pants on accident.
No,
We're
no,
talking-
like they didn't want to go find a bathroom. They didn't want to ask somebody to
Didn't
just
want to
like
get out of line.
hold their spot. There's usually a mid queue bathroom that's accessible. But yeah, people
Yeah.
will just like take a crap and then like just walk off. Well, if you're just gonna leave anyways,
Who-
why did you just
How
sit
do you-
here and wait?
Not see that.
Oh no, people will see it, and that's why they leave, because now they're the people with the kid who shat in the queue.
Why not just leave then?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that was the point,
That's
right?
I'm
fair
so
logic. That's some
I don't
fair
know.
Like,
logic. All
I-
of us got little taken aback by that. That
Like,
was
if
actually
I-
really good logic. Why wouldn't you just leave?
If I shat,
I mean, it makes sense to us, but
If I was in line for 3 hours and I shat in the middle of the line,
Whew. in
You-
line for 3 hours.
any amount of time,
People stand in those long fucking lines
But-
at Disney.
I like if I was in line for more than an hour and I had to shit and the only option was to shit right there, I'd stay in that line.
I pooped in the parking lot walking into Arrowhead Stadium to go to a Chiefs game one time.
I would poop in the parking lot of Arrowhead Stadium too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I was going to poop my pants
Different
otherwise,
reasons.
but
Yeah, different reasons, I feel.
I've pooped in like my parents' backyard, but we grew up in the woods and I locked myself out of the house. So the nearest set of keys was like 20 minutes away if my grandma stepped on it, wiping with like big broadleaf maple leaves and stuff.
it could
Just
happen to
whatever
you.
I could reach. Yeah. It's a cautionary tale. Remember your keys, children.
Don't marry Rosie Perez.
That is the biggest life lesson
I
from this
think.
fucking movie.
If I've
Yeah.
learned anything.
Who is Rosie Perez married to?
How's he feel about baby corn?
He must love it.
I'm assuming pretty good.
Oh, like little bits of cream corn just stuck in her mouth, and he's
Just
just in there
stuck in
kissing
there.
and licking.
Just little chiclets.
She's like, "La, la, la, la." I don't know. I can't get over her mouth. I'm sure she's a very nice lady. Yeah. So this movie doesn't really move along all that well. It kind of just bounces in and out.
Yeah, it's a lot of just here's a scene, here's a scene. Stanley Tucci shows up. That's the best
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Stanley
Stanley
Tucci
Tucci
shows
is
up
the best part.
for no reason in
And
this
it's so
movie.
hot. I love him in
It's
that.
just-
It's so hairy and weird.
Okay, what's your favorite Stanley Tucci part of this movie? That's something we can talk
his chest
positively
hair.
about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The
And-
scene where he's just in the robe.
Yeah, eating the macadamia
Yes,
nuts.
So
for
good.
sure, for sure.
I love when he just takes the nuts from her and locks her out.
Close the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like because I notice weird shit like this when he's in the towel, like he squats at one point and he's wearing underwear.
I saw that too.
So I think
I
it's-
was checking. I wanted to see some tooch
Like,
dong.
why in the world would you? It's just continuity that just doesn't make sense in this movie.
It broke the fourth wall for you. It
How
took
did he
you out
get
of it
in
all.
there? Like she unlocks the door to get in there. There's no damage.
I'm
or
assuming
anything.
I'm assuming it was their apartment.
Maybe, yeah. So he
'Cause
still
they
had
were
access
married.
to it. Very true.
Yeah.
I did like how in his first scene when he calls her up and he's like at the payphone, he's combing like those wisps of hair, that Homer Simpson haircut he has.
all 17
The
of his
quarter
hairs.
of a head of hair that he
Yeah.
still has.
I loved his reaction when she's all like, "You just want the money," and he's like, "What?" No, what money? No.
You won something?
I also,
Well,
for
that's
half a
just
second, when I
incredible.
saw him, because I didn't see the whole cast list first, I thought he was like a young Jim Rash. I
Oh,
was like, what is he do? Oh, no, that's not Jim Rash. And I looked it up and was like, Stanley Tucci. Never saw that connection till now.
we do get a couple of 2G connections in our movies.
There's this and Kiss of Death. I think those are them.
Those are they.
Yeah, they them.
All
Those
right.
is these.
I thought this movie is fucking charming. I think
Oh,
I agree with you. The plotline is stupid as fuck and it's meandering, but
It's a romantic comedy.
It's
I
cute.
was
Yeah.
charmed.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I had fun.
I do like that they fall for each other and that they are adorable.
Yeah.
Like they are a very cute couple. That is an endearing quality. I also like all the product placement in it. She says you have to have forever things, and she's talking about like Hellman's Mayo or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she's a
Miracle
Miracle Whip.
Whip.
At one point they mentioned Jiffy Pop is in there. Like there's a whole like just that 90s thing of
But yeah, Miracle Whip. Now I don't think Bridget Fonda's hot anymore.
Yeah, I know. She put an appropriate amount of bacon on there. It looked pretty
Very true.
fine,
Very
but
true.
Miracle Whip is just not right.
she did just have like a dope sandwich like she could just whip up out of nowhere even though she was super broke.
Well, I mean, it is like a 4-ingredient item,
Yeah, but still.
maybe 5 if you count
she
the
got
bread.
docked all the pay from the cafe job.
I know that job sucked.
Yeah. That guy was an asshole.
Also, who is she to think that showing up late is not going to dock your wages?
Right.
Like, you're a waitress, you're hourly. I haven't met a salaried one yet, but
She apparently had sick time though, because she mentions that to him.
She says coming up though. She says I have like 3 weeks of sick time coming.
he does say,
If you want to use it, get sick.
which I've had employers pull that on me too, which is also dumb. Fucking
You want a
bosses.
secret?
Yeah.
Just tell your boss you shit your pants that morning. That's all you gotta fucking do.
Tell him you ate too many raspberries and
You
shit
could
the
also
bed.
be super fat and just say you ate something funny. That's what I do all the fucking time. That's what I do all the time. And they've never like, yeah, no, dude, you just stay home. We know you're not feeling well.
Too often in my career, like, I mean, it'd work, but I'd have to find a new job.
Fair enough.
Like, it would be ridicule. We already play games like Farty Friday, where we're just competing with farts.
You must work with all dudes.
Almost
Party
exclusively.
Friday does not sound like a female thing.
Well, yeah. Well, we haven't found the one who wants to play yet. But when I do, I'm sorry, Josie.
Right. I'm gonna be
This is why I stopped running D&D on Fridays.
Oh, well, yeah, I do get pretty gassed up.
But back to the Peters thing. No, this movie's cute. It's a romantic comedy. It's a Nick Cage romantic comedy of this time. There's this Family Man. They tried to make him like a leading romantic comedy guy, and this is the better of them.
and it's got like a mystical black dude in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting. I
Isaac
always forget
Hayes.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, with Angel.
He's
With the lobster
denouement,
tie.
if you will.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's omniscient to the whole story, but at the end he's a
He's just
photographer.
stalking these people the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
movie,
He's just a creep.
and then at the end, he's just like, "Oh, by the way, I'm a good guy." Like,
I like because he shows up in all these scenes, and at the end shows up as a homeless man
Yeah, to eat some pie.
to eat some like pie.
I liked his mime work.
Great physical comedy. But had like a secret camera watch that wasn't that secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like everywhere, and he's narrating this movie only to like be a photographer /
Yeah.
journalist.
I kind of just accept his narration as if like he's telling us, obviously throughout this whole thing, he's telling us the story, and his moments of narration are just like an overlay,
yeah,
and
it's just
everything's happening in the past to him,
yeah.
just as it is to us, because this is 2023.
But it's just such a weird like structure
Yeah, it is.
to
It
make him an
is.
actual character later rather than just never explain it and have him just be magical.
Magical Black Man is by far the better
To
role.
their credit, though, about 18 minutes left in this movie, I was like, "How are they going to make this happy at the end?" And he was the only reason that made it happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he turned it all around for them.
Could you imagine if they just ended that movie and they were like, "Well, you're poor now, but you're in love. Bye." Like, that might have won an Oscar. Shit.
Yeah.
It'd be like, it's so real.
Any major discoveries on rewatching it?
I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed the first time.
It rekindled my hatred for Rosie Perez's teeth. I can't get over it. I'm sorry.
He just hates those.
Rosie
teeth.
Perez's teeth are like your penis to Sean thing. Sean can't get over your penis
Mm,
in the moonlight, and
It's
I
true.
can't get over Rosie Perez's teeth.
it looks good in moonlight, man. What can I say?
Unlike her teeth. Harrowing, I tell you.
You're gonna have to cut out 5 minutes of teeth talk.
Nope.
This is
This
now.
is talking teeth.
Yeah,
This is
we're back
talking
to a dental pod. No, this movie didn't give me anything new on a rewatch. I mean, it's enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah.
for what it is, I'm never in the mood for a romantic comedy.
It's not something I go to often, but having to watch it, I didn't hate it.
You know, since you are familiar with the Cage of it all from Community, the good, bad, bad, good concept, where would you pop this one?
For just Nick Cage himself,
Yes.
I would say it's on the good bad spectrum, just because he's pretty good in it. Like, he's not a bad actor in it. It's just not that good of a movie for him to be in the good spectrum. You know, you can't get everything with it, but I think it falls in the good bad.
I feel it's a real middling movie, so good bad is about all I can do for it. It's not good enough to be good. Just summer entertainment, or it's ultimately fluff.
I would go good Cage. I enjoy him in this, and like I said, the film is charming. Fluff is a good word for it. There's no
Fluff is a good
no
description.
great substance. I'm not offended by the film, but it's not something I would seek out.
Did you have a favorite like stunt they pulled? Could be Nicolas Cage, could be Bridget
Oh, I
Fonda,
just
could
like
be
the
Rosie
whole
Perez.
rollerblading sequence
Oh.
Where he just
rollerblades,
rolls right into the
straight
lake.
into the lake for some reason.
Oh.
For some reason, she can stop on the grass, but he can't. I just don't. It just that whole thing where I was like, this
Well, he
is
just
the 90s.
leans
This
in
is
like a
definitely
speed skater. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. Naruto runs right into the lake.
straight up.
I really did enjoy like the one part of this movie where it actually becomes kind of like a cop drama, and he has to stop the robbery in the bodega, and he gets shot,
Yeah.
tackling that guy through the window. Like, this doesn't fit into this movie at all.
It does show him being a nice cop. And his partner is in this. What's his name?
Wendell Pierce.
Wendell Pierce.
Fuck yeah.
Shit.
Fucking love Wendell Pierce.
I like that he stops the robber with a can of beans or whatever. it
Yeah.
is.
yeah, he just picks
Wait.
it off.
What brand was it?
Ooh,
It must have been Heinz.
well, I feel like it would have been like Bush's or something.
Who needed it most in 1994?
Probably Bush's. All they had were those dog commercials.
Yeah,
back
right.
then.
All they had was the dog had the secret recipe for
Yep.
a while.
I
That
liked
dog's
when
long dead by now.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody knows that recipe.
I liked when Rosie Perez was remodeling their place and what it turns out to be. Like the gross pink walls, the painting of
The
her
giant
over the
portrait
Painting
of
of her
her.
is amazing.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it. Rosie Perez or whatever her name, the Muriel with the heart of gold. Such terrible taste.
I did indulge in a bit of the 1.5 time on the plane yesterday, trying to just get this in
Just get through it. Yeah, I feel yeah.
there. But just, yeah, Rosie Perez in chipmunk voices is a thing.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I would probably just have trouble with watching a comedy sped up. I feel like it would take a lot of adjustment for me to like settle into the timing.
But I guess the whole point that we mentioned earlier is it's not that much of a comedy. It's really more just the like romantic with a little bit of haha.
Yeah, it's
Circumstance,
chuckles. That's all
yeah.
it gets.
It's not as depressing as The Family Man.
Less camel toe. No, wait, Family Man was the other one. Never mind. I was thinking Weatherman.
Oh yeah, no. The Family Man has
Family
Jeremy
Man
Piven.
also didn't have camel toe.
No, but it had Jeremy Piven, a human camel toe.
And with that, should we discuss Army of One?
Because there is a camel in that one.
There is a camel.
You did it.
Hey-o.
Nick, do you want to
Sure.
throw this one out there for us?
Army of One is the absolutely true story of Gary Brooks Faulkner, a guy from Colorado who gets a mission from God to go to Pakistan, find Osama bin Laden, capture him, and bring him back for justice and stuff. So he meets up with Wendy What's-Her-Face from Reno 911. They form a relationship, and he keeps dipping out on her to try to go to Pakistan.
And she's just cool with it.
That is the weirdest part about this movie.
I mean, she gets tired of it after like the third time.
but still lets him move right back in every time.
Right.
Well, she's working 3 jobs and has a handicapped child. She doesn't have a lot of energy left for fighting this largely inoffensive thing living in her house.
Thanks.
I couldn't get behind the idea of there being like instant romance and attraction there. It's like,
Yeah.
other than the fact that they set it up as like, oh, we're old high school sweetheart kind of people or whatever, or at least used to be hot for each other.
I love the tramp stamp though.
The tramp stamp. Yeah, that's
You still got the tattoo? Oh yeah.
Man.
Oh no, as soon as I threw this movie in, I was like, I remember exactly why I love this movie so much. Gary Faulkner is just absurd.
Yeah.
The series of him telling people what not to buy and whatnot in Home Depot is just
It's
perfect.
hilarious.
My favorite scene is still him buying the hang glider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I take this apart? How many pieces should I come? The dude's like, don't do that.
Doesn't come
cut
apart.
it
One
into
piece.
What song should I use to pump myself up? I don't know, Tom Petty. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
So you hadn't seen this one either, right?
No, I hadn't seen either of these. I actually, when it said something about being this absurd, I did the same thing with Tiger King. I stopped it immediately and I researched what the fuck was going on. Because I thought Tiger King was like an excellent mockumentary with really good actors.
Oh.
Because that's how strange it was. I was like, nobody can write this. This movie had that same effect on me. 5-6 minutes in, I was like, Gary Faulkner? What the fuck? And I stopped it and I researched this man. Nick Cage does a good job with the voice too. That dude's voice is weird.
Yeah.
in real
It's
life.
not as far
It's not.
as Cage
Right,
takes
right.
it, but he's got a voice. So, like, amp it up.
Right.
I do forget that in this film, Nicolas Cage playing Gary talks about getting Nicolas Cage to play him.
Oh,
right.
I had forgotten that. That was something that I caught again on rewatch. It was like, oh yeah.
It's super meta. I
Yeah.
loved it though. Don't you think
I
look
got
like
real
Nicolas
into
Cage?
it though. Like once I kind of understood the style and like this is not gonna be a high class film, and I got over that. I was like, okay, let's just have fun for an hour and a half, and that's what it is. It's a fun movie.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Will Sasso's in it for some damn reason, and Paul Scheer
Scheer,
is his
yeah.
friend. Like it's just like you
Pickles.
could tell that this director was like, I have 4 friends in comedy who have an okay following, and they can act a little bit
I love when they're in that bar and
with the knife.
with the knife and the Marines.
And he just goes, "Oh, this has happened like 9 times already." Like, you just stabbed your friend straight up.
Gary.
Why would anybody give Gary the knife ever?
He
You know
brings
what?
the knife.
In Gary's defense, why did Will Sasso walk in front of the dartboard?
Right.
That's
fair
what I'm
enough.
talking about.
Because it's
Fair
not like
enough.
it went wide.
I imagine he just like pops up.
Yeah.
Like he was just crouching down and just like for comedic effect jumped up.
I'm
And
done
they
pissing, guys.
Or this is a planned thing that they do to get out of like
to get
bar
out
fights.
of these fights.
Every time Gary gets like too wound up, he has to do the knife thing.
Oh, another thing that I didn't catch the first time, but did the second, is when he gets that boat. It's called the Aries, and then he just paints a G on it.
That's hilarious.
I
didn't
missed that.
notice that.
That's
God, the boat.
fantastic.
Just, yeah. No, we watched this for the second episode because it was adaptation of this. And I was not ready for what this was as like the third Nick Cage movie I watched for this grand experiment.
Yeah.
Upon rewatch, this movie fucking rocks.
It's incredible.
It's one of those I didn't like I will not admit other than here that I was really into this movie. But
Good
it
thing we
was
haven't.
really
Good thing we haven't recorded.
Right, no shit. But it's super fun. It's just if you want to do something mindless for an hour and a half or 2 hours, however long it is, it was fun.
It's like a tight 90. It's
Yeah.
great.
yeah. You don't really have to pay attention. Like the whole plot is he's gonna go to
Pakistan.
That's the whole plot of the movie, is that he's gonna figure out how to get there, and he tries to so hard.
Oh, and the CIA in
Oh God, Rain.
Pakistan as well.
Rainn
Rainn
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's somebody weird too. It's Rainn Wilson. What a strange to be like, hey, you're playing a CIA agent. Like,
A CIA agent who's
Wants to be-
obsessed with going undercover.
Right.
As
He
like
wants
a,
to be a Dutch James Bond.
yeah. And how strongly they believe that like Gary Faulkner is just some deep cover person and they can flip him, they can get him onto their side. It's just so weird.
I'm on a mission from God. Is that your handler?
Yeah, is that your handler's name? That whole sequence where they're questioning him is pretty good. And it's like pretty back and forth pretty quick too. I liked it a lot.
I think most of the dialogue in this connects really well between everybody on
Mhm.
like in the scenes.
Yeah. Nick Cage carries this film.
Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
And he carries it very well. He's just, I don't know, he is a whole nother person. Like it's not a character that I see him reproduce.
No.
Although if they ever did it again and had Army of Two, him and the daughter,
Yeah, Lizzie.
I'd be all for it.
Call her Wheeled Justice.
In a word.
I just want some kind of like monster truck wheelchair. She still doesn't talk.
He straps her to the hang glider instead of a radio.
Oh my God.
It's a
It's-
fun little detail
from-
too. Just we need to have a radio, and then when he gets it, there's a radio on there. And just like the dumbest little things that this movie did for me.
From the opening of him actually just showing him hang gliding with the sword with the
Right.
boombox, cutting to him in dialysis talking about how America has the best hot
best
wings.
goddamn chicken
Yeah,
wings.
best goddamn chicken wings.
And it just doesn't stop. I said this last time, and I still like how this movie knows exactly what it's over.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, you wanted to see it. Here's him and Osama sword fighting in a cave, Porley. You got
Oh,
it.
man.
5 minutes later, we're going to wrap this movie up. You're going to go home.
Exactly. And you're going to be done and out of here, right?
That sword fight's still awesome. Like getting the sword
The
stuck
sword
in the
stuck
ceiling.
in the ceiling is
When-
hilarious.
When they go like sword to sword and it vibrates the hilt, and they're
Ah,
like,
my
"Ah,
fingers,
my fingers
tingle.
You're hallucinating because you haven't had dialysis for 13 days. It's
Yeah.
just so good. It's just a fun little movie.
Yeah.
I like that he called himself the Donkey King.
Oh,
Was that ever explained in the movie?
It's a spirit
animal.
well,
Spirit animal, but like
his dad used to call him a jackass.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All
That's
the
where they
time.
get Donkey. But just randomly at one point, that's the first note I took. I'm Gary Faulkner, the Donkey King. And I was like, what?
Big
Why
G.
did he say the Donkey King?
Just
I
said
have
so
no
confidently.
idea what's going on with this.
I love nicknames throughout this movie. There's so many nicknames, like Gary's like Big G or G Man, the Donkey
He
King.
calls himself G for a while.
Yeah. Osama bin Laden is OBL. He's the
OBL.
bearded one. He's Benny Boy. It's just so fun. Like they had a lot of fun with the writing.
Yes,
And
very much so.
just figuring out how to call everybody out.
I do like how when he finally like wakes up in the cave and he's hallucinating the fight with Bin Laden, and he asks Bin Laden about like, this doesn't look like anything like your episode of Cribs.
All right.
And his own fantasy version of Bin Laden doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I think the only thing that sucks about this movie at this point is Russell Brand, but
Yeah.
he didn't age well.
No.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, when you know what was going on at that time, and then you watch this movie and you're like, oh, this guy is a creep. All right, whatever.
Yeah, his performance I was totally cool with, but
Everything else?
nowadays his personality not so much.
The physical comedy in this movie is astounding. It's not over the top, but it's just enough where like he's running after somebody at one point when he's already in Pakistan and he falls on like the scaffolding.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
gets somebody goes, why is the scaffolding there? Like,
When he's chasing the shooter.
yes.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I love that because he like jumps down and it falls and then he reprimands them for not using American,
American
wood.
wood.
I will say the prolonged like scenes in Pakistan where he's just running around or like on a shit ton of hash. All those scenes where there's no like dialogue or story, it's just kind of just a lot of visual stuff. Because I was on a plane and I had to watch 2 movies in 24 hours. I'm like, all right, 1.5 speed for this. So those chase sequences, fucking put that shit to Benny Hill music. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When he drives the scooter through that market and he's just hitting everything,
Hitting
like he
every
couldn't
single
possibly
thing.
do that without being intentional, but just running into everybody, old ladies flying off the handlebars and shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait. I felt like I remembered him cutting somebody's arm off or something, but I didn't see it.
No, that didn't happen.
Okay, he did not cut anybody's arm
That
off.
was Renfield.
That was Renfield.
No. I felt like there was some kind of violence that we just said, why didn't...
That was jujitsu.
I don't know.
We've been doing this for 17 months now.
Yeah, maybe that was Bangkok Dangerous. I can't remember. Did he have a sword? I don't know.
The only crime committed in that was against cinema.
What about Prisoners of the Ghostland? Maybe he had a sword in that one.
He did have one of
He had
his
a
balls
sword.
blown off.
He had a sword hand.
Oh, yeah.
For the record, I haven't known any movie you guys have named since we started recording this.
We
I
also
haven't literally known any of these.
Oh,
I'm
these
like,
are-
yeah, sure.
we gave
This
you
is
like
good
the
homework.
deepest cuts too. Like those are some
Fair
real
enough,
fucking dogs.
Fair enough.
It's no dog eat dog.
No, what is though?
Okay, so first time watching this, did you watch this with your family?
No, I watched it solo.
Probably was.
Shamefully on the in a dark room.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. But yeah, it was an interesting little romp. It was just, like I said, once I got over like the weird style, like knowing that this was not going to be highfalutin bullshit. This was definitely going to be a good thing I'm stoned for it kind of movie. I had a great time watching it. It was very fun. Decent soundtrack too. Like the soundtrack's pretty good. Can't name specific songs from it, but it's decent.
Nothing ever felt like out of place. It's not like, I mean, like they could have put Freebird in this and it would have been fine too.
Right.
So
I like that whenever he gets hurt for something, he comes back and it actually shows that he's hurt. Like at one point he's got an arm cast, and another point he's got a cast on his arm and his leg, and he's like, "Let's go
Well,
out tonight."
We saw how he got the arm and leg cast because that's when he did
When
the
he-
hang gliding.
Yeah, when he was
But
hang gliding.
At one point, he's on a boat and he just has the arm
That's
cast.
what I thought.
And
He
he
was
ex-
just on the boat with the cast
Yeah,
for
it's
no
like-
reason.
but he explains it to the lady cop.
the security
Oh,
guard.
I
at
shouldn't
the
have
dock.
prefaced that with lady, right? It's fine to just call it a cop.
Yeah, I think you can probably just say cop.
Asks if he knows how
Well,
to
she was
sail.
a boat cop.
Oh, boat cops.
Asked if he knows how to sail, and he's like, "Of course not. I broke my arm trying to like lift the sail, like hoist to the sail."
He was trying to boat. Now, if she's a boat cop, she was out of her jurisdiction because she was on land. So I wouldn't have listened to her either. I
There's
would.
water adjacent structures, but
What do docks count as? Docks aren't land.
Come at me, doc cop.
get in that water and give me a citation.
Yeah.
Sounds like another Nicolas Cage movie.
And then he,
Doc
like-
Cop. That feels like that would be a vehicle that he would pick up.
Okay. General thoughts. Obviously, I love this movie. Everybody here loves this movie. You'd be a fool not to, and that's why it beat adaptation.
100%.
It's still the wrong call. Adaptation should still be here, but I thoroughly enjoyed this film so much more the second time.
I'm mad that I liked it as much as I did this time,
Yeah.
but I did.
It's never going to get old.
I love to hate that I know I'll watch it again.
You say
I'm
that.
for sure gonna watch that again.
Yeah. It's perfect. See?
say it's not
See?
going to get old. You know, we're going to watch it at least one more time.
Yeah, probably. So, back to the Venn diagram real
Good
quick.
Cage, bad movie, movie,
This
good
is
Cage, good, bad,
definitely
bad, good.
good. This is definitely bad good. It
Oh,
is
you think
like-
bad performance?
No. I don't think it's a bad performance. I think it's just overall the budgetary amount that they had for this movie. They could not make the movie that they wanted. So it's technically a bad movie that is done really, really well.
No, okay. I think it's definitely a. We generally go like grading the performance. and
Oh,
then
I got
grading the
performance.
movie.
It's top notch.
Yeah.
He's such a good character in this whole movie. You don't dislike him, even though you should dislike him. He gives you 1,000 reasons to dislike him, and you're still like, yeah, he deserves everything he's getting here. Where does he get all the money? Too is my question. If he's like supposed to be on some kind of a
Yeah, he's like a
fixed
part-time
He's like, yeah, no,
construction
I'm just out here buying hang gliders and shit like that. That can't be
And
cheap,
flights to Pakistan.
right?
I imagine there's a little more downtime between his jaunts to the Middle East.
Right.
Then, like
But-
it jumps around time wise a lot. At the beginning, he's sleeping on a construction site,
Mm-hmm.
then wakes up Pickles one night, and Pickles says he's been there for months.
Right.
So it jumps around.
I like that we got to see him in his underwear again. That's a
Yep.
real classic Nick Cage look in these movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tidy whities.
Yeah, t-shirt and tidy whiteys.
yeah.
Really
like
showing off that sack.
Dingy tidy whiteys.
Yeah. Oh, I got to get me one of those American flag sleeping bags though, because that was tight.
great performance by Nicolas Cage in that he really disappears into this role and just keeps it up the whole time.
Yeah, it never flags.
Is
It
Nick
goes
Cage
hard.
still like the big method actor crazy? Because I have to imagine this would have been painful to film if that was the case.
Or fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Just doing that voice for however long he had to do that voice for, and just the cadence with which he speaks is so different than anything else I've ever seen him in as well. Just that rambling, and then we're gonna do this thing. Just goes and goes. He's a great performer in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's great performance. I'm gonna say great movie too.
I'm gonna say
love
fine movie that is really sold on this performance.
I like that they spend 10 minutes talking about this ramp that he's going to rebuild, and then they never show the ramp.
It takes
at
him all movie to get the ramp done. It's like she finally is ready to throw him out and just comes home and he's putting the last screw in.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Which, now that we're talking about the time jumps, it's like, this is a 3-year ramp or whatever. Like, that's a fucking disaster.
yeah, I mean, we go from W and end with Obama.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
a good
fair
point.
amount of time spent in this. Yeah, that ramp, the original ramp was terrible.
Yeah.
Admittedly
Super shitty.
bad.
Yeah.
And
And she is in a power chair, so it's not the worst ramp for her to be dealing with.
it had fucking holes in it. It
Power
was
over
like
'em.
plywood, like 2x2 plywood squares just screwed down. It was rough. Like she had trouble walking up it, and she's fully mobile.
I just liked it, man. I didn't expect to like it 5 minutes in, and then I was like, fuck it, let's just go with it. And I just had a good night watching. Oh no, day. I skipped work for another reason, but I watched this during the day, which lets you know I got stoned at 2 p.m. So
Respect. I respect that.
No, going back to this one, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did because again, it went up against adaptation. It was our second week. I wasn't ready for it. And just as soon as the hang glider and music kicked in, I'm like, this is going to be fun. And it was.
It was a perfect movie to watch on an airplane. I will say that too.
oh, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Time passes real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys make better airplane movie choices than I do.
Yeah,
Neither of these movies had any boobs in
no
them.
boobs.
I just look like a creep watching booby movies on an aisle seat.
You look like a creep before the booby movies. So.
I mean, you look like someone who would watch booby movies
On an
aisle
airplane.
seat.
Yes.
Or in a Walmart. It's like, I gotta see how it looks on this TV. Let me just plug this in real quick. Hey man, you want to sell this TV or not?
They don't
That's
care.
right.
They don't care at a Walmart.
No.
It's not the worst thing you'll see all day at a Walmart.
No,
People will poop on the floor at a Walmart.
Yeah.
probably.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a statement.
They all work there.
Well, the important question then in this concept, one of these movies has to advance. So your vote doesn't matter, Brandon, but what would you have advanced between the two?
It's 100% Army of One. 100%. If I can give it 200%, I will.
Sean?
It could happen to you.
That's
Oh,
not
you're just
true.
being a dick.
Lies. All lies.
Is it true? Is that
Lies
what
and
you're really going for?
poppycock. No, it's Army of One. Of course it
Yes.
is.
Army of One all the way. This movie,
This movie's gonna win.
it
going the
probably
distance,
is
baby.
his
I'm calling
best
my
movie.
shot.
I see no other reason to hang out tonight. It's Army of One.
Army of One.
Do you guys want to
period.
watch Army of One?
Let's do it.
I can do it.
Pop it on. It's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's only
Nick and I didn't get to watch this one together.
No cuddling.
We tried.
No cuddling for the Army of One.
Well, thanks, Brandon.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. You want? You got anything you want to pitch? You want to sell us on?
No, if you're ever looking for a comedy, just look me up at BWhite, BWHITE comedy on Instagram. I got all my stuff up there.
Cool.
Well, thanks for coming in. It was a real blast.
Real
Yeah.
pleasure. Thanks for introducing me to 2 movies I probably never would have watched on my own.
And one you will again.
One I'm definitely watching again.
We have a list of we had 62 other Nick Cage movies.
Yeah,
if you want to
just
watch them.
send it to me. Just
Yeah,
send
yeah.
it to me.
We'll get it to All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you want to chat with us, we're on Instagram at cage_match_pod and Reddit at cagematchpod. If you want to give us money, which is great, we are on Patreon at Cage Match. And thank you to our Sparkle buddies, Josh, Sean, Josie, Rico, Matt, and Adam, and Cage Dancers, Ira, John, Freeman, and Lance.
Bye
Amen.
bye.
That was so somber.
Bye
Do it in-
bye.
Do it in Gary voice.
Man. I don't think I can do that in Gary voice. Nick, give us a bye bye in Gary voice. You mean your normal voice?
Yeah, my normal fucking terrible voice. Bye bye. I don't got it today.
I feel like that kind of worked.
Eh. I think I still have a picture of it saved on my phone. I'll pull it up later.
We'll put it on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Something.
Patreon only pornography.
Something to look forward to. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, Sparkle Buddies.
Baby moving?
Are you talking about a BM?
Ah, poop joke.
I am in the right place. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're safe here.
We're all idiots in this basement. It's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Sean, you seem fine. Nick, can you give me something?
Penises.
Penis.
Talk more like we're regularly talking.
Okay.
Penises.
Intimately talking about penises.
Penises.
Much better.
Yeah.